Yes, I have to tell you a story. The story is from a few centuries ago. There was a great saint. His name was Ramanujacharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya. One day, he was going through the writings of one of the elders, and he read about how the Supreme Lord, Sriman Narayan, he loves flowers. And especially he likes to have fragrant flowers and bring them together in the form of a garland and offer it to Mother Lakshmi and vice versa. And this was especially describing how the Lord enjoys his pastime in the hills of Tirumala. So in South India, we have Adishesha. Adishesha is the expansion of Sri Balaramji. He is also known as Anantashesha. So Adishesha, he serves the Lord as his bed and many other capacities, as his canopy too, and his footwear too. So many ways he serves the Lord. Specifically, we see him as his bedstead. So therefore, Krishna, Lord Narayan, is known as Shesha Shahi. What is he known as? Shesha Shahi. So Shaya means a bed. Shahi means lying down on a bed. So Shesha Shahi means one who is lying down on the bed of Shesha, Ananta Shesha. Okay? Now why is it called Shesha? Even I don't know. But that could be a lie. I have to know, right? Otherwise, why ask a question like that? It's called Shesha because he represents that which can glorify the unlimited eternally. And therefore his glorification, there's nothing beyond his glorification. He's a Shesha. There's no one that can go beyond his glorification of the Supreme Lord. So glorification does not simply mean, oh, you look so good, you are wonderful. Glorification means seva or service. So he has this huge form and his hood is like an umbrella over the Lord. So when Adishesha realized that Sriman Narayan was going to appear on the planet Earth, so he expanded himself. Okay? It's like the multiverse theory, but in the same universe. So in the same universe, he is as Adishesha, the bed of Lord Narayan, Sheshashayi Narayan. Yes? And he's also wanting to serve him when he appears on the earth. So where was he going to appear on the earth? The tract of land which is known as Varaha Kshetra. Varaha Kshetra, the land of Lord Varahadev. So many years ago when Varahadev had lifted the earth, so he said, okay, this territory belongs to me. In simple terms. So that is Varaha Kshetra. So the Lord was going to appear in Varaha Kshetra. So Adishesh, he expanded himself and flew across the universe to this middle planetary system known as Bhuvarloka and came to Prithvi or Bhumi in Varaha Kshetra. And he established himself as a mountain range. This mountain range is known as the Tirumala Hills. Therefore, another name for Tirumala Hills is also Sheshadri. You've heard Sheshadri?
Yes.
So Adri is mountain, and the mountain which is non-different from Adishesh is Sheshadri mountain. Isn't it? Do you have any friends with the surname Sheshadri? No. You have? Surnames Sheshadri, yes. So, maybe Adishesha, he adopted somebody and his family lineage is Sheshadri now. So, the Supreme Lord appeared there as Srinivas. His mother is Bakula Devi. Very soon his mother found a suitable bride for him. The bride's name is Padmavati. So there is the Kalyanam, the marriage of Srinivas with Padmavati. You like the story up till now? Now comes the fun part. So this happened many centuries ago. So the devotees who were there, they were happy because they could directly interact with the lordships. But then the lordship said, okay, we cannot stay here infinitely. So we are going to unmanifest. They said, if you unmanifest, then how would the future generations get your mercy? So Lord Srinivas manifested as a deity. What is the deity known as now famously? Balaji. And Sri Padmavati has her own place. So Balaji is fascinated with flowers. Balaji has a fascination for flowers. And no wonder, because the place where he lives is a huge forest. So there are lots of forest flowers. So Ramanujacharya heard that the Lord is fascinated with flowers, forest flowers. So he expressed a desire that I wish that somebody could assist the Lord with his fascination. So one gentleman got up, his disciple, and he said, I will go there. So he traveled all the way to Tirumala Hills. And it was a dense forest. His closest companions were tigers, leopards, monkeys, snakes. And his faraway companions were tigers, leopards, monkeys and snakes. Practically no human around, just he and his wife. But they were eager to serve the orders and desire of Ramanujacharya. Sometimes, you get that inspiration. You have an adventurous spirit, you want to do something different. And if that dedication can be dovetailed towards sattvic purposes, towards dharmic principles, towards actions that uplift your consciousness and serve society by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then such adventurous spirit makes you very famous. So this gentleman of the name Anantacharya, he and his wife came to Tirumala Hills. A lot of struggle and hard work. Every day he would roam through the forests, gather all kind of flowers and bring it together and make a garland, a couple of garlands, and would offer it to Lord Srinivas. He did that for a couple of weeks and a few months. And then he had a brainwave. He said, why do I have to go all over the forest gathering flowers? Why don't I develop a flower garden? See how creative, innovative, entrepreneurship. So he developed a flower garden, and for that he needed sufficient water supply. So he also made a moderate size pond where by water harvesting, rainwater harvesting, sufficient water would accumulate. He named that pond in the memory of his guru, spiritual teacher, Ramanujacharya. Now he had so many wonderful flowers growing in his garden. Different varieties, so fragrant, and he was very, very meticulous and particular. In fact, he became a very good horticulturist. And he started off his Anantacharya Flowers Farm. Advertising. But this was a forest, right? So, the only person that took notice of his ad was none other than the Lord. So the Lord one day, he convinced Mother Lakshmi, Padmavati, that, these flower gardens that we get every day, actually, they come from a garden. And this garden is quite near to where we are. Would you like to come on a date with me? We'll go through the flower garden, roam around, look at the beautiful flowers, and discuss nice katha. So Mother Lakshmi was very happy to serve his desire. So they went out into the flower garden. But they were careful that nobody should know that, should understand that disappeared from the temple. Because the temple, from morning till the whole day until the night, you worship the deity. Therefore, they would go out into the flower garden at night. None, not even, not a single soul knew about this. And they they were having a really nice time. First night, second night, third night. Every night they were going out into the forest, into the flower garden. And they were simply amazed because it was so well cared for and there were so many varieties of flowers. They really loved it. One of the names of Tirumala is Pushpamantam. Pushpamantam. A bowery, a flower bowery. Then our Lord, He has some interesting inspirations, So one night He was inspired to pluck those flowers. So He plucked a few flowers and the next day Anantacharya noticed. Anantacharya had an inventory inside his head. Every day he would look at all the flowers and he would check it against his inventory. Today he noticed that. He's like, who dare come into my garden? And he had CCTVs all over. But he couldn't notice anyone. Who's this thief who comes into my garden and steals the flowers? So that night, he hid in the garden, wanting to see who was a thief. And then he saw nothing. So in the morning, he's like, all right, let me look at my flowers, see if they're all there. And some were missing. He's like, how did this happen? How could I have been so careless? So tonight, I shall be more careful. A couple of nights passed like that, he couldn't find the thief. And the flowers kept on disappearing. As I said, our Lord is very interesting. Now, anyone else would have kind of taken a step back, okay, it's been noticed. Let's stop for a few days. Come back again. But not he. It is said about Krishna that he fulfills many purposes with a single action, single act. So he was very pleased with Anantacharya, but he had his own way of rewarding him. So after an entire week, and every single night Anantacharya would stay on vigil throughout the night. I mean, he was really doing 24 hours bhajan. Akhanda Kirtan was going on. So if you have something that you can die for, that you could live for, that really matters to you so much, Akhanda Harinam is very easy. Yes. Oh, that brings me to a story. Many, many years ago, a great saint traveled across the seas, at least 2 big oceans on a ship, and came to the new land, the land of hope. And he established the Hare Krishna movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Any guesses who that saint is? Yes, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada ji, he introduced the concept of ashram life, where you can dedicate full-time service to the Lord by staying in the temple complex, and the Lord will take care of all one's needs. Now, ashram life is not so easy. People understand that after they spend a few days in the ashram. It looks very rosy from outside. But then it's not so easy, especially if you have to wake up every day in the morning and just stand before the deity and services. So in the early days, it was very difficult because resources were limited. So people would get really, really tired. Their only source of entertainment would be the Sunday feast. In terms of having good feast, good food. Otherwise, throughout the week, they would have boiled potatoes and oats. They were trying to make do with whatever resources they were, right? Can you imagine if we start doing that here at the temple? But Sunday feast was very lavish. Puris, kachoris, halwa. Halwa had to be there. Gulab jamun, some nectar drink, like that. So one of the ashram inmates, by the middle of the week would be so tired and frustrated, like it was so difficult for the inmate that on a Wednesday evening he's like, tomorrow I am going to just quit. Tomorrow after the morning program, I walk out of the door forever. So come Thursday morning, and he's ready to walk out of the door, and then he says, but just after 3 days there is Sunday feast. And the halwa and the kheer. So you say, okay, another 3 days of austerity, and then I'm walking out. So you'd wait till the Sunday feast. And after having a wonderful feast, eating all of that nice prasad, the next day he would be so happy, he's like, I love this feast. And then come Wednesday and he's again. So that went on for quite some time, and the devotee is still there in the ashrams. So oats. Anyways, so coming back to our story, the Lord has interesting ways. So Anantacharya, on this day, this night, after his entire week of non-stop vigil, he prayed to the Lord that, my dear Lord, I really, really, really would want all of these flowers to be used in your service. I promise you, I will not harm the person that is stealing these flowers. I promise you I will not get angry. I will be very, very cool about it. Please, I would like to know who is the thief. So since he was praying to the Lord, and he had vowed that he would control his senses, and he'd give up all the anarthas, he'd not let the anarthas touch him. Krishna is like, he's ticking all the boxes. Therefore now I have to help him out. So that night, he saw a divine couple walk into the garden. And for the first few hours, he was simply stumped. He couldn't move. He dare not breathe. He was so overwhelmed by the beauty of this divine couple. He did not want to breathe or blink his eyes. He just was staring at them and drinking in the nectar of their beauty. And Krishna said, well, this is not good. So he plucked a flower. That broke his, japa. It broke his japa meditation. This is the thief. But then Krishna is a little funny too. He's like, wait, there's more to come. I mean, he did not speak that out. And very quickly he went through quite a little area and picked off a lot of flowers. And Mother Lakshmi is wondering, what is he trying to do? Is he trying to gather flowers for the entire week or what? And Krishna is like, pick. That is what Srinivas is doing. So in jumps Anantacharya and gets hold of both of them, grabs them. You thief, why are you stealing my flowers? These flowers, I have cultivated them. You've been doing it for quite some time. And Krishna is like, what do we do? Mother Lakshmi is like, I don't know, this is new for me. I have been never caught. Krishna is like, okay, a lot of my devotees have been caught, but not you. Sometimes the monkeys would get caught in Vrindavan, sometimes his friends would be caught. But rarely he would be caught. So the two of them are caught. And Krishna is like, please don't hurt her so much. Please don't hurt her. Hold her gently. Now you know, if you are using both your hands, if you try to loosen one of your fingers, then the nervous system is kind of, the nervous system does not want to be biased. So he let go of his grip slightly on Mother Lakshmi. Now she doesn't know what's happening, but Srinivas was prepared. So as soon as his grip loosened, he became free and ran away. And the way he ran away, he did not even look back. He just ran. And Anantacharya, he ran as fast as he could, because you're still dragging Mother Lakshmi with him. So Mother Lakshmi was trying to keep pace with him. She's like, okay. And suddenly the boy disappeared. This prince, this charming prince, this divine personality disappeared right around the corner of the temple. It's like, okay, no problem. He has to come back. I have his companion. He has to come back. And Mother Lakshmi is like, please let me go. Please let me go. I did not do anything. I did not pluck any flowers. He said, no. You were a partner in crime. But he felt so bad. He was really feeling miserable saying that to her, because somehow or the other he had this infinite love for her. It was just flowing towards her. But he was like, no, Anantacharya, control your senses. Be meditative, focus on the goal. You can do it. He brought her back and tied her up to a jasmine tree, the trunk of a jasmine tree. And there was Mother Lakshmi, who herself is so pure, so beautiful, like a jasmine herself. The jasmine tree was so excited. He's like, somebody take a picture. But then, the next day, well, the night passed on. The sun rose up. The temple doors were opened. The archakas, the pujaris, they went to worship Lord Srinivas. So they took off all the night shringar, and then they almost had a heart attack. All of them. And they were all young. And it was not it wasn't. And there was no underlying disease. Their shock was that the chest of Srinivas was empty, because that is where Mother Lakshmi resides, a Srivatsa, and there is no Srivatsa there. This has never happened before. This This was catastrophic. What should they do? There was immediately a board meeting called. And everyone was ready to give up their lives. Mother Lakshmi is not here. Then Srinivas tapped them from behind. He said, listen, who's that? He's like, it's me. Who else? My dear Lord, what is it? Anantacharya tied her up in his garden. Please go and liberate her. So they all go. They're like, is this true or what? They all go to the garden of Anantacharya and he's sitting there. Let that boy come. He's just standing there. Mother Lakshmi is crying. And then all the pujaris come in. They see Mother Lakshmi. They tell Anantacharya, this is Mother Lakshmi. He's like, what? I don't believe this. He said, no, this is Mother Lakshmi. And then Anantacharya is like, maybe what they're saying is true. Lord Srinivas doesn't have her on his chest anymore. So Anantacharya is like, is this really true? So he says, I have to see this for myself. So he takes Mother Lakshmi by the hand. He's not ready to leave her. And he comes to a temple. And looks at Lord Srinivas, and there's no Srivatsa. He's like, my dear Lord, was it you? He says, it cannot be. There must be another answer. And he goes back. And he ties her up again. And then he sits down and meditates. What is all this? And then he dives deep into his inner consciousness. And then he understands it is but natural for him to have that love for Mother Lakshmi. So he calls all the pujaris back and he says, I made a mistake. This is the Supreme Mother of the universe. We have to bring her back to the Supreme Lord. He said, all right, bring her back. He said, no. That is now how I have to repent. And this is not how you do it. So he made a palanquin. Like a flower barrow, a basket. He made Mother Lakshmi sit inside it. And they all lifted her up on their shoulders. He walking ahead. Now typically, according to the old customs in Varakshetra, which is present day, is it Telangana? Telangana or Andhra? It is Andhra. Present day Andhra. According to the old customs, if a girl is carried on the shoulders of the young men of her community, then typically it is for her marriage. And the person that would lead that party would be her father. And the boy would address the father of the girl as Mama. Tamil, not Telugu. Telugu also say Mama? Okay, Mama. So as soon as he walks in with Mother Lakshmi, Srinivas is like, Mama? And then Anantacharya says, okay, I like this. I'd like to have him as my son-in-law. So then he offers Mother Lakshmi's hand to Srinivas in marriage. You like this pastime? Okay. Now this is where I have to get serious, because we cannot always keep smiling. We have to control our lust, our greed, our pride. So now I have to take on my other form. When we hear pastimes like this, it is but natural that we are drawn towards Krishna, we are drawn towards the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and we find renewed energy to dedicate ourselves to the practice of God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, to the practice of rendering service to the Supreme Lord and to the Lord's creation. There's some inspiration. True?
Yes.
At the same time, the inspiration is tinged with some desire hidden in some corner at the front of our heart. So I'm not sure how there's a corner there, but right there, up front, there's a desire that when will I see the Lord? When could I participate in a pastime with the Lord? It would be so nice. So what does it take to see the Lord? Chakshurendriya Santushti. Somebody was asking me, is there a topic for today's evening's talk? I said Chakshurendriya Santushti. Chakshurendriya means the senses known as the eyes. Chakshu is eyes, that which sees. Indriya means a sense, the sense of sight. Santushti, the eyes are constantly looking around for an object that can satisfy it constantly. Right? As long as the eyes are open, they are constantly looking for an object of satisfaction. Santushti. Total satisfaction. The philosophy of Krishna consciousness is easy to understand. The practice is also easy to do. But when you hit the roadblocks of our own inner challenges, that creates the shadows of doubt and the demon of hypocrisy. We learn the art of cheating ourselves by being lazy in our practices and all the while convincing ourselves that we'll do better the next moment. So if there's anyone that can cheat us really well, it's ourselves. We ourselves. So to see the Lord is really the desire of the living entity, because that helps one understand service better. Imagine we are not able to see due to certain circumstances. It creates difficulty because we have to depend on the other senses. Sight helps. But more than what the eyes see is how we interpret what we see. True? Srila Prabhupada would give an example. It's from one of his small books. He says that in rural India, there is a farmer on his day off walking down this muddy lane, a path, and he finds a piece of string. This is a small piece of string. He's like, what will I do with this? So he lets it be. Then he walks further up and he finds a piece of bamboo, small pieces of bamboo. He's like, what will I do with it? He walks further up and he finds a hollow pumpkin, dry pumpkin. He has a brainwave, jugaad. He picks up that hollow dry pumpkin, retraces back his steps, collects the bamboo sticks, collects the string, and makes a musical instrument. So the eyes see, but you have meaning to sight by how you interpret it. Correct? So sight is there, but if you do not have interpretation for that sight, then there is no application. Isn't it? For example, if we are sitting here and we are thinking about some other place, then we are seeing what is there right in front of our eyes, but it does not carry any meaning for us. So similarly, or therefore we understand, not similarly, but we understand that knowledge is what makes sight worthwhile. Because knowledge helps you interpret things in a productive way. Therefore, when we speak about knowledge, it is sometimes referred to as Jnana Chakshu, the eyes of knowledge. Isn't it? Narada was speaking with Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is saying, "Sir, you have such an illustrious career. You know, I have reached a roadblock, a mind block, the writer's mind block. I'm not able to write anything. I'm not able to conceive of ideas anymore. Can you help me out?" So Narad Muni gives him a few scripts. And he says, check it out. See if you can do anything with the scripts. One of the scripts is about his own life, his previous life, where he was the son of a maidservant, and under certain circumstances, he had the fortune of associating with very, very spiritually alive personalities. Spiritually very alive. And undergoing transformation. So he had the fortune of that. He underwent transformation. And then fate, destiny, made him an orphan. He was a single parent child, and now he was an orphan. So it took it that destiny is propelling him towards a life of unfettered dedication. So there are no responsibilities. So he can, without being bogged down by what about this and what about that, he can just proceed on with his spiritual pursuits, and that is what the child did. He was so determined, just as we hear about Dhruva being determined, he was so determined that the Lord had to give in, and the Lord appeared in his heart. The boy had darshan. He practically saw the Lord within the heart. Just as sometimes you see, hey, I have this deep marks on my palm. Never saw it before. That is how he saw. Never noticed it before, but now I can see the Lord in my heart. And then the Lord vanished, and the boy became crazy. He felt lost. He was dejected. And again, he tried to look into his heart and look outside and everywhere to have sight of that form. He did not. The Lord, personified as sound, took mercy upon him and told him, Narada, in this lifetime, O child, in this lifetime, these are the Lord's words. In this lifetime, you will never ever see my form again. It's like, this is not fair. Out of syllabus. Why? So the Lord gives the answer. He says, because I do not reveal myself to those who are unripened in their spiritual practices. Now here is this boy who, according to all our standards that we have established, has reached the pinnacle of his practices. And the Lord says, I do not give darshan to people who have not completely become free from distractions. And now the boy is like, what distractions? He doesn't understand what distractions, but the Lord understands. So then he's like, why did you give me that darshan? Because so that you won't be distracted anymore. You'll hanker for me. No more distractions. So the first thing that we have to understand is, what does it take to see the Lord? The first thing is the Lord's will. You're like, sometimes he gives his darshan to somebody who does not even want his darshan. That's true. The Lord does that. Do you think the pujaris wanted his darshan? Anantacharya, because of Hare Krishna. Should we continue? Is there Kirtan or Arti? Anantacharya, it was he who had captured Lakshmi. They did not even know that the Lord, he is having his pastimes in his personified form. They did not even know that. But there, the Lord gave them darshan. They saw Mother Lakshmi being tied up there. All they had seen her as Srivatsa. So the Lord, he has a supreme will. And the scriptures also stated, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriye sevan mukhe jivhado swayameva spurtyada. Swayameva. Swayameva means by the Lord's diktat. It does not mean by chance. It does not mean on its own. By the Lord's will. And especially, the Lord is very generous towards someone that is really interested in seeking deep connection with Him. Just as a good teacher or a loving parent is very, very generous towards a child that really wants to make some advancement in life. And how is your generosity? They are very particular about the child's regulation. Is the child performing all the activities that are needed to move ahead in life in a regulated way? They take up certain austerities to help the child to be regulated. Similarly, the Lord makes it His personal agenda to see that such a devotee becomes very regulated in their practices. And wherever the devotee tries to go off the radar, the Lord sends in drones. He immediately sends a message. Go back. So the second thing is, the Lord He does not become weak in front of our frailties, and what we are aiming for is high goals in life. He provides us the means to go ahead, but when we somehow or the other find it difficult, the Lord does not fail as a parent. He does not have the feelings of an ignorant person who, when seeing a worm trying to crawl out of a cocoon, sees this misery and cuts open the cocoon. That is ignorance. But like a very well-educated scientist gives all the necessary support for the caterpillar to struggle through and come out of the cocoon, because that will give the caterpillar strong wings and the form of a butterfly. So that is what he did with Narada. Thirdly, let's suppose we want to see the sun. The sun says, all right, tomorrow I have an appointment with you. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., I'll come face to face with you in my full glory. What would happen?
You can't see. You'll be burned out.
Oh, yes. Literally burnt out. Srila Prabhupada, in one of his books, small books, he writes that if you want to live on the sun, then you should be having the body of the quality of the sun. Since the sun's existence is of fire, you should have a body of fire. Similarly, if we want to associate with someone who's all famous, most renounced, most knowledgeable, most wealthy, most beautiful, then we also need to have those qualities. Otherwise, how will we sustain ourselves in front of that person? So it is nice to be inspired by hearing these pastimes, because that is what the Lord does. He wants to inspire us. But it also helps us take stock of what is it that we need to. We are humble, right? We are humble, right? We are false. We are like, I have so much lust, I have so much greed, and we have no idea what we are speaking about. But if we want to speak out someone as that person has so much lust and pride, we have at least 10 instances where we can give praman. With date, time. It's like live recording within our consciousness. But when it comes to us, we're like, I don't remember how, but I'm sure that I have a lot of lust. So when we are not able to properly understand where to clean our consciousness, we are not ready to face that, then how can we claim, how can we even in our faintest of dreams be inspired that, oh, I wish that one day I would be, in the spiritual world. It's like a lazy man's dream. I mean, you can dream, right? But nothing's going to come out of it because we are lazy. So the fifth point is, you really have to look at all that needs cleaning up. If it helps to have a guide to do that, somebody who can walk us through that process, all right. However, what does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Mattaha smriti, mattaha jnanam, mattaha apohanam. From me comes remembrance and knowledge and forgetfulness. And you're like, how can you do that? How are you able to do that? And Krishna says, sarvasya cha aham hridaya sannivishta. I am situated in the heart of every living entity. All the other organs may sleep. The heart can never sleep. So Krishna never sleeps. Yes? So introspection is what actually can be considered to be taking guidance from Krishna. Sincere introspection. You know, Krishna walking us along the path and, oh, this needs cleaning here, this needs cleaning here. Let's do it. In one conversation, somebody asked Krishna, somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, not Krishna, sorry, Srila Prabhupada, can you show me God? Prabhupada said, yes. But will you be able to see Him? It's like, can you show me money? And if the denomination is not something that you understand, you're like, why are you showing me this piece of printed paper? So concluding our presentation today, it's too serious, right? All we need to do is just work on a few things, just few things. We are pretty much okay on a lot of things, on a lot of matters, definitely. Yeah, we accept chanting of the holy names. That's amazing, isn't it? Krishna's will is that we accept. Everyone accepts the holy names. We have accepted Krishna's will. Isn't that amazing? That is what we have done. No, we can really. I'm not trying to be. No, please. It's really, it takes a lot of courage to do that. A lot of courage. To accept Krishna in the form of the holy names. It's like you're challenging your entire existence up till now through all the 8,400,000 species of life. That is what one has done. We have accepted to only honor Prasad to the best of our ability. If all our previous bodies would come in front of us, can you imagine all those tongues? They would be ranting against us like, how dare you do that? But that is what we have done. We have said no. This lifetime, the tongue shall only taste nutritious food that has been offered to Krishna. That is glorious. Prasad. We've decided to understand scripture and not only understand it, but try to assimilate it. In the Mahabharata, Duryodhana, he says, I understand scripture, I understand dharma, however, I am not able to relate to it. Understand but not relate. I understand what is adharma and I am able to relate to it. Amazing quality. That we are understanding dharma and we are able to relate to dharma, the dharmic principles. That is so glorious. All we have to work on is a little introspection. Sincere introspection. Isn't it? All we have to work on is trying to be full in our infinitesimal capacity as knowledgeable, beautiful, renounced, in those qualities. That is all we have to do. So we can just pray sincerely that, my dear Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. O Supreme Personality, O Reservoir of all pleasure, O dear Mother, please engage us in your service. That's it. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any comments, clarifications, questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Prabhupada used to ask me all the time, who are you? He asked me countless number of times, who are you? And I never had that answer and still don't have. He always asked me. Every time I visited his home with my father, I'm a doctor of Dr. Chakshurendriya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And he always asked me, who are you? Do you know who are you? I still do not know. I'm learning Gita for last 5 years and I've learned quite a bit. And I'm thinking my Atma is I am. But I have to find out who I am.
Answer to the question.
Who are you?
You're asking.
Who am I? Yeah, who am I?
No, are you asking me who am I? Or?
I'm asking, who is a human?
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Who are you as a human being? Who are you? Who is she? Who are you?
My answer would be that since you had this opportunity.
He is devotee of Krishna.
I know, but I'm not asking him who he is. Prabhupada used to ask me, who am I?
Okay? Alright? You also probably devotee of Krishna when you start serving.
Yes, I want to know. I had no answer, who am I?
How do you find that answer?
I just do not know.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking you.
Now, what I could, in my limited understanding, since Prabhupada asked you many times, and you remember Prabhupada asking you, and you really want to know the answer, Prabhupada is eternally existing, as you are eternally existing. So Prabhupada will definitely help you find an answer. You continue asking Prabhupada, read the Gita. If there is, within the Bhagavad Gita or within some of his teachings, if he says, try to render some service, and if it is acceptable, try and render service. However, Prabhupada has directly asked you. So that means he has clearly indicated that he'll be helping you find that answer.
I think he will.
Yes. So the answer would be,
I have faith and I have it.
that's wonderful. So that's all we need. So with that faith, right now, as you're exploring his teachings, please do that. But at the same time, Prabhupada is eternally existing. So he'll help you. He'll inspire you to find a way to connect back to him. To get that answer, for that answer.
I think that's a good answer. I think it will.
Yes. Thank you so
I
much.
think it will.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes.
As you very well said, that we cheat ourselves almost on everyday basis. Like we say that okay, we won't do this, but in next few minutes or hours we end up doing it, and there we are like mad elephant, where we keep on, after bathing and cleaning ourselves, we mess ourselves again. How do we stop?
I have an interesting proposal. We have 24 hours of time. Let us find out ways where we can engage that every single day in all the other activities that are beneficial.
So,
Let us try and engage as much time as possible and try to increase the amount of time that we put in every day, day after day. An incremental increase, every day. In the activities that have been beneficial for us up till now. So do all that has been positive, that have given us positive results, that has helped us feel connected to Krishna. So let us list that out. And one devotee asked, I think I've just heard it, down the pipeline, you hear like that. So this is called as Loka Brahman. So this is Loka Brahman. That somebody asked our Jayananda Prabhu, that what is Maya? One of his, those memoirs about Jayanand Thakur, is there on the internet. What is Maya? And Jayanand Prabhu said, I do not have time to think about it. It's an interesting statement. So let us keep these inclinations outside the door of our existence. Let it stay there. We do not want to challenge it. We do not want to kick it out. Let us have its existence. We are non-violent people from that sense. Ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharma, according to Mahabharata. So we let all those qualities stay outside the door of the house of our existence. Let it stay in the outside world. And let them knock on the door. You're like, just a minute, I'll be with you. And then engage in that which is beneficial. Is that okay? There's a lot of things that we do, a lot of activities that are so beneficial. However, we are distracted by that one act and feel guilty about it. And that guilt takes up the entire day, takes up the entire week. So it's not that we don't have to repent. The best way of repentance is to focus on that which is beneficial. It shows that we really want to have a transformation in life. Is that all right? Yeah, that's a crazy proposal, right? It works. Either it works, you can take this free advice, or maybe after a few years when somebody kind of develops a seminar out of it, you can pay a few dollars to see the same advice. I'm just joking. Is it okay? Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for enlightening. The question you asked, right, when Lord replied to the Narada boy,
Yes.
that you will not want to see me again, and that hankering, and Lord has a program how He wants to that devotee to come back to his own agenda, his own plan making. How Lord has planned, like you give an example of a father or a teacher to a child as well. Similarly, taking a soul of a student or a child, we have some hankering, we want Lord, but we understand, okay, I have understand. Krishna consciousness is a gradual process. It doesn't happen instantly, a child becomes a PhD scholar. So it takes over the time, patience, that. But at the same time, that hankering is also there. So the balance of hankering as well as patience sometimes makes us confused, me especially. So please guide on that point.
Yes, that has been in the reflection of many practitioners. This has been put forth. And all of them, when they've had clarity, most of them, when they've had clarity, they understand that they have always been PhD scholars or PhD graduates. They've always been that. They're trying to become what they always were, and all they had to do is remember what they always are. It's much more easier. When you want to become something, you have to put in a lot of effort. And you just have to remember it. It's lesser effort. Alright? So smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavya na jata chitta. Sarve vidhi nisheda shyorete oripakankara. Every other regulation, every other consideration, all that which you feel can help you or which is harmful for you, is within the jurisdiction of this one instruction. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Now, if we accept that simple principle and if we are able to do that, at least from the technical aspect, it appears to be much less work. But when we try to do something else which we think will help us to remember Krishna, which will help us understand the existence of Krishna, that is where we come up with we see so many other challenges. Hence Arjuna asked Krishna, where all can I understand you? What are your vibhutis? And Krishna said, oh, water, earth, mountains, rivers. What else? So yad vibhuti mat sattvam. Shrimat urjitam eva. Tat eva vaduchatvam. Mamat tejansh sambhavam. Wherever you find something that is inspiring, you say, Krishna, it is you. Wherever you see anything inspiring, even a cyclone.
The same hankering was with the gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the same hankering, that he was always in a separation mode. So that hankering is a blessing in a one way, that you constantly remember Krishna. So that is a blessing in a one way, that hankering, right?
Yes. Something that is very intense. That is what Krishna is saying. Vibhuti means that which is very intense.
Yeah, gopis, even though they were only little bit from a distance from Mathura, when Krishna was in Mathura, they were not allowed to see Krishna. I mean, that was Krishna's desire not to see. So, but gopis were constantly in a trance of thought of Krishna. So that separation, it is very special, and I believe that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself accepted that mood of a separation.
He did. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially in the parampara that we follow, we hold that mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the highest esteem. Because in our lineage, that is our goal. Definitely. So that kind of desire or that kind of understanding, more than as a desire, it is the understanding that there's always more that we can do to serve Krishna. It's like we have an unlimited capacity to serve Krishna. That is what is important. Material hankering can be distressing. Within hankering, the devotees, when they feel that separation from Krishna, it's like, is Krishna eating? That is the hankering. How can Krishna be happy without me? Because when he was here, he would always want to be with me, and if I'm away even for a second, Krishna would be so anxious. So is Krishna really happy without me? This is the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. Mother Yashoda is like, even if he does not, if there is a slight sound somewhere, he becomes fearful. That will affect his health. So is he all right? Nanda Baba is like, when I was here, I could, whenever I would see him, be a little rash, like interacting with a bull. I would tell him, Krishna, don't do that. Gopal, stay away. Would there somebody be telling him something like that? Because there are going to be bulls there too. So this is the mode of separation. It's how they understand their ability to render unlimited service to Krishna. And it's very natural. It comes out as if it's the daily activity. It's nothing. It comes very, very naturally to them. It's like a part of their life. It's thinking about how, if Krishna has somebody to protect him there, if Krishna has somebody to feed him there, it's like an extension of their own existence.
Yes, Smarana.
It's Smarana. Definitely. So there is one thing that where you remember Krishna's pastimes. There is another thing where you remember what Krishna needs in those pastimes. Both are good. However, the mood of the residents of Vrindavan is always, what is it that Krishna needs? It's an interesting way. It's an interesting quality, the kind of perspective they have in life. It's very easily overlooked, that perspective, because everything else seems so glamorous. Even the cows, they are like, if Krishna is there, then do you think there would be a cow whose tail can be used to whisk Krishna and save him from, protect him from any evil eye? That is how cows think about Krishna. Therefore they are stunned. Would there be somebody, Mother Yashoda would always call them. Bring the cows, she would wave their tails all over Krishna's body. So they are stunned, they are not able to feed their cows. So, it is not that is the only thing. It is also about fun. It's not only about that. It's like, and then Krishna would tickle me on my tail. And you'd laugh. Is there some cow there that can make Krishna laugh like that? So that's also there. Yeah? So, yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a wonderful class, Prabhu. I had, like while you were speaking about one particular point, where to associate with Krishna, who has all these opulences, you need to develop appropriate qualities to associate with him, like that you were saying. That was an interesting way of putting it. I want to clarification on that one. I heard in the past how Prabhupada used to say, to associate with something, we need to be like that. Like you also talked about sun, we need to be fire body. To associate with fire, we need to become fire like that. To associate with Krishna, we need to become pure. Like that I heard. But interestingly, you brought in the picture about opulences. And the opulences include beauty, famous, wealth, those also. So I was wondering, as a soul, what does it mean to develop those opulences? You are calling it as qualities, I think, in this context. Could you please help understand that?
Infinitesimally, in infinitesimal amount, we also have a spirit soul because we are part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna has all knowledge, we also have all knowledge. However, infinitesimal amount. So our knowledge is complete according to our existence. Therefore we are Chinmay. Our fame is complete in terms of our little existence. So we are famous as one of the servants of Krishna. That's our fame. Like, who serves Krishna with a chamara? Daru! See, fame. Who is Krishna's charioteer? Satyaki or even Daruk. So that is the soul reflecting those qualities of Krishna. So it's not that we'll become Bhagavan. Not possible. Nobody can become something that is the source of everything. You cannot become the source of everything. It's contradictory. The source of everything can become something, but you cannot become the source of everything. So we can, in infinitesimal quantity, qualitatively reflect all that is in Krishna. That is how we can associate with Krishna.
Follow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like normally we hear in terms of qualities, like Krishna speaks about amanitvam, adamvitvam, like that, humility, like that we hear. And we hear from acharyas, how do we develop those qualities like that? But in terms of like this fame, for example, wealth and beauty, so how do we develop those as a, even though infinitesimal, as a spirit soul? What does it mean?
For example, let us say the first citizen of the country is famous as the leader of the country. Every other citizen of the country is famous as an individual member of the country. But the fame is different. The first citizen reflects that fame through the power that the first citizen has. And an individual citizen reflects that fame through the power that the individual citizen has. When Krishna, he expresses his fame, because he's so powerful, his fame is also as powerful. So Krishna is famous as the perfect object to receive service. So he is called as Sevya Bhagavan. And the same Krishna, when he appears as Balaram, he is a perfect object, he is a perfect embodiment of rendering service to Bhagavan. Therefore he is Sevak Bhagavan. And similarly, we are the perfect embodiment of being the servants of Balaramji. So we are all Shishya. Balaram is Guru. Guru Tattva. So that is our fame. So we should cultivate that fame. I want to render my duties as a Shishya to the best of my ability. Not that we want to be famous, but we have to cultivate that fame. What does it mean, cultivate that fame? When somebody else looks at us, they should see us reflecting those qualities of a Shishya, of a disciple. And when they see that, even though we are not wanting to establish our fame is being established. Is that helpful?
That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Yes. She had her hand up first. Is it all right? Okay. Yes.
You touched upon the importance of introspection a little bit. So I was just wondering, like for me personally, I feel like my life is like in auto mode. Like, I don't really have time to introspect. The only time I do that is when I have problems or difficulties, and that too just for that particular instance. How would you recommend imbibing that in our lives? I mean, if you have some time, then would you recommend doing more reading, more services, or more introspection?
On a lighter note, what you're asking for could actually be something very, very difficult. Because something similar was asked by Kunti in her prayers. Queen Kunti, do you know that? The prayers of Queen Kunti. She's like, I only remember you when we have difficulties, and now we have no difficulties. I am fearful that I'll forget you. So please give me more difficulties in life. We should worship that prayer of Mother Kunti. But right now, we may not be in that position. So if reading is going to be troublesome, or hearing is going to be a little more troublesome, or introspection is going to be more troublesome. Try not to adopt any one of them. Try to adopt something that you feel comfortable with. And then if you are comfortable with reading, accept reading. If you are comfortable with hearing, accept hearing. If you are comfortable with introspection, do introspection. Find out what you are comfortable with in trying to reinvent yourself, a better version of yourself. So that could create some friction, there could be some, let us say, pain when you try to reinvent or update yourself. Alright? However, because you are being comfortable about it, like when you go to the dentist and you say, yeah, please stick in the needle, no problem. Because you feel comfortable about it, you are able to tolerate the pain. But if you are not comfortable about it, even the sight of that injection is like, I'm not sure I want to do this. I know I have to do this, but I'm not sure. So first, we have to understand that we are not designed to have a painful existence. Anandamaya Abhyasat. Our design is to have a very pleasurable experience by default, because that is who we are, Anandamaya Abhyasat. Unfortunately, because we did not attend good classes, we bunked classes, so we've lost our way.
There's always a first time.
Sorry?
There's always a first time.
A first time, yes. The first time of coming back, not a first time of hearing classes. A first time of coming back to classes. Now that which we have been truant about, we decide, all right, no longer we have to be truant. So, find out it is helpful to find out what we are comfortable about, and then the pain is tolerable. It is within we somehow or the other find strength, and it is within our limits to tolerate that pain. However, a simple process can be very, very difficult to tolerate. It can be very painful if we are convinced that it is uncomfortable for us. Is that helpful? Okay. Introspection is a very practical way of seeing Paramatma work, provided we have learned the art of introspection. It is not very difficult to learn that art. In the beginning, it can be the whisper of the Paramatma. It is like, was that there? Did I really hear it? Slowly, as you get feedback in terms of following what your inner voice says, that voice that always guides you towards light, that voice when it says. And when we get more and more feedback, we see how it's helpful. That voice becomes stronger. And slowly, this is the very, very gross understanding of the presence of Paramatma, very, very gross understanding of Paramatma. We need to go more deep. We need to use techniques to actually understand the existence of Paramatma with us, constantly being with us. But a gross understanding, a very superficial understanding is mindful introspections, thoughtful introspections. Simple acts like, I could have read today. I had time. How is it that I took up my phone? What made me do that? That's interesting. And the voice inside will tell you what made you do that. As I said in the beginning, it would just be a whisper. Like a faint whisper. It is because you have developed attachment to your phone. Unhealthy attachment. So that will be there. You may sometimes communicate that with your friends, I hate it when I waste time on my phone. So, is that okay? All right, yes.
I have a question which might sound a little confusing, so let me know if you don't get it. I had a question about in a journey of where we're doing self-growth, there tends to be two phases. The first phase being when you're critiquing your faults and trying to work on it, and then the second phase is you're accepting certain parts and learning that, oh, it's okay, I'm human. And then comes a little confusing part where you don't know what to accept and what to work on because the mind is being tricky and telling you even what you're supposed to change, it tells you it's okay, you're human, so you can accept it. So I was wondering if there's how do you distinguish between what is to be changed and what is to be accepted because you're human, and finding the healthy balance between accepting and working on things without beating yourself up. If that makes sense.
Have you heard someone say that experience is the best teacher? Heard that saying? There is another statement from intellectual, let us say thoughtful people, that says that one who learns from experience is second class, one who hears from experienced people is first class. So if we hear that experience is the best teacher, that is true. Now, in the realm of truth, there is true, more true, most true. Okay? So, experience is the best teacher. Learning from the experience of others is the best teacher. Is more best teacher. So, in our tradition, that basically means that you have a spiritual guide. They have much more, and therefore, if your guide has a lot of experience, it doesn't really matter what their age is. However, a lot of experience comes with age. It does. But as I said, it's not just age. If you have a very, very sharp, inquisitive, and reflective intelligence, then you could be a lot of maturity at a very young age. It's just how you can perceive through the darkness, through all the thickness that's there, if you're able to cut through it with reflective intelligence. So somebody like Ashtavakra is very intelligent at a young age. Someone like that. Or according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Raghunandan, the son of Mukunda, is more intelligent is more mature than his father, Mukunda, according to Mukunda Dutt himself. So maturity comes with age, and it comes via two main venues or avenues. One is your own experiences, the other is through experiences through others' experiences that you can trust. So it's very important to have relationships of all ages that are trustworthy. So human interaction is of paramount importance because there's a lot of exchange that happens. Yeah? And the more interactions that humans have, healthy interactions with all different ages, the more a person has the ability to lead a balanced life. It just helps you understand how you can be more tolerant, how you can be more focused. Is that helpful? Yeah? All right. Or was that as confusing as a question?
Somehow Krishna made it come out less confusing.
Less confusing? Okay, we'll keep fingers crossed. So I'll stop here? Yes? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.